Hello, this is Positive Vibes Enterprise. I am Tom Goodwin. This is Michelle Ronquillo.
Hi everybody, welcome back.
And we're doing a video over again related to psychic attacks.
Yes, it's 1 year ago that we posted our first video on psychic attacks. So we wanted to revisit it and go over not only a few things that we covered in the first video, but add a little bit more in depth in what we're talking about.
Because we are always growing. We're always training ourselves to get better. And, you know, that's the whole focus of Positive Vibes. It's self-improvement.
Yes, spirituality is constant. It always moves. It always is changing. And you are always changing, evolving. And even me and Tom, that video 1 year ago is completely some other Michelle and Tom.
Yeah, it's not like it won't reach certain people, because sometimes you want to start with more simpler versions and getting into more complicated. Yes. So it isn't like they're not valid videos.
Oh, they're valid. It's just that we have expanded and evolved to a different level even a year ago, even yesterday. But this topic, psychic attacks, goes first and foremost into the knowledge of understanding who you are and trusting what is inside versus what is outside.
And understanding that clearly so that you don't get in trouble with not knowing your boundaries very clearly and mixing yourself up with other people's energy, which is some people will take advantage of that when you don't have that kind of self-awareness. There are people out there that will.
Yes, it's a cruel world in both the physical and the spiritual. So knowing the limitations of these attacks and what you can do as far as how much strength you have, you stand in the place of strength. You stand in the place of right now, and you trust your gut. And what it really entails is when you know your limits to walk away.
And a lot of the spiritual has to do with emotions. And when you make strong psychic, emotional connections with other people, you have to be very careful that you do it in a way that you don't subject yourself to being taken advantage by other people who prey on the vulnerabilities of other people. And you hear about these sociopaths or these certain types of individuals.
And narcissistic people. I think that was one thing that we covered in the first video. All the qualities of narcissistic people trying to make you think that their way is the best way for you. And that is the manipulating quality of a psychic attack. Haters that you are doing the right thing and they can't do it, so they're going to manipulate you into thinking that what you're doing is not right. But when you're strong with your gut intuition and you're strong in your spiritual stance, you can be like, hey, no, back up. That's not true.
And a lot of people have unrealistic expectations, or they're naive, and they have, they think that they deserve this or that, and there are going to be people that say, yes, you deserve this and that and all that stuff, and it'll play into what their expectations are. And, of course, they're doing it in order to, ingratiate themselves to you for their own purposes. And then what's going to happen eventually is that they will say, they'll turn on you, and they'll do a negative trip on you that you're not pleasing them well enough, and since you've already sort of like taken the hook and sort of like became really bonded with them because they were being nice to you, then when they're not nice to you, you don't want to break that bond, so then they can manipulate you by the way they they'll play you in the direction of being negative so that they can manipulate you, to do what they want you to do. They say you're not doing what basically they're just going to be negative whenever you're not doing what they want to do. It's just sort of like the cult leaders that we talked about cults
yesterday. We made a video. Check that out. That's also available now.
Where these people will you know, try to destroy the other person's ego and all, and then have the other person live their lives based on, you know, what the other person, you know, the person that's trying to dominate wants.
Yeah, but also everything really interlocks with everything else. So the perceptions of the psychic attacks does go into the fact that if you do get vulnerable, if you do not know how to pay attention to these psychic attacks, you can get led into something like a cult. And that is, it's just a destructive pattern for yourself. Because of your light and how important your role is in the spiritual walk that we are walking today. Me and Tom really want the word to go out that it's easier said than done. It is your actions that really matter. And when it comes to psychic attacks, it goes into your self-esteem, your confidence, your know-how, your bravery, your spark that says, I am worthy to do something great in this world. And a lot of haters and judgments and things that are out there in the world, you can tap into and literally crumble from if you are not careful of understanding the differences of what is inside versus what is outside.
And when you get really comfortable with yourself, you don't need you may want the approval of other people, but you do not require the approval of other people. So if people do not approve of what you're doing, it doesn't bother you. Say, well, that's not the right person for me to connect with.
That's
when
right.
They do approve, you just make sure that their approval is real approval. It isn't something to manipulate you, meaning it's something that's valid.
Yeah, it's going to enhance you.
Your intuition's going to have to have a lot to do with it. That's why you have to do the spiritual training. So your intuition will let you know.
Build it up. Practice.
Let you know where you are at spiritually and what you're capable of, so you don't get it over your head by connecting with the wrong people and thinking that you're capable of handling that which you're not capable, because there are some pretty messed up individuals that can challenge anybody. If you are in law enforcement gets really scared by certain individuals. No matter how tough they are, they're going to find tough characters that scare them, because there are some really messed up people out there that if you connect with, you can be, you're not only psychic attacked, but physical attacked and everything else. All kinds of abuse can result from that.
And, you know, that also goes into what we were talking about earlier about the delusional perceptions, because you can't really ever argue with delusional reality. It's like they're on their own radio wave somewhere in the universe that is not even connecting with any kind of reality. So you can't really argue or try to talk sense into it or try to make them, you know, they have to switch their own radio dials to like tune in and listen and participate in what's going on with reality. And those are tough characters, and it's best to just let them be and walk away and not get frustrated or angry, and just have the tolerance and mercy with yourself to know those boundaries like Tom was talking about.
And when it comes to, you train yourself spiritually, and I do a lot of training that's very difficult and can be quite painful in the direction of the duress involved in it. So I'm very able to handle a lot of discomfort and pain. And that's what makes you psychically strong, spiritually strong, so you can fight off this energy. Because if you can represent pain that another person can't handle, they're going to run. They're going to keep clear, and that's how you can get them away from you, is by being represent that kind of energy that they cannot handle, which is that's too difficult. And the thing with a lot of the people that are messed up, they have trauma that's the result of pain, and they get theirs. They're able to attack you because of the pain they've gone through. They can send that pain at you, and they can use it,
even if it's in a delusional state,
because the pain gives them spiritual strength. But it's not the type of spiritual strength you want, because it's that messed up spiritual strength that causes trouble in this world. So when you hear about these people that have done terrible things and created terrible crime, you usually hear that they've been going through great pain in their life, and they've had faced great trauma, and they haven't cured it. They haven't made themselves whole or healthy as a result of it. So they're damaged goods, but they can cause all kinds of trouble, because things can cause trouble in this world spiritually,
Yes.
because they are problems, because they're messed up. In other words, when we have a serious problem that's happening in the world, it has a lot of spiritual strength behind it that resists you improving it, and you have to have the strength to overcome it. And some people represent problems within them. They've been messed up by the problems of the world, and they become part of them. And
they get addicted to it as well, because those are those people, you know, they have those ways of understanding what is crumbling them, so that's what they focus on. So in the inside strengths of you, you need to always focus on what's going to evolve you, what's going to move you, what's going to motivate you, what's your creative outlets, what's your passions, what is going to get you up and going regardless of anyone in your life. Those are those ways of also beating the psychic attacks of life, just the mundane things that are trying to get you down. You find the positive, you find the motivation. You might not know the results, but you are brave enough to have the hope to try and to do the actions needed to get the positive results out of it.
And getting connected with reality is so important. Getting connected with hard reality, healing your trauma.
Trauma healing, yes.
By connecting better with reality. And part of being able to connect better with reality is getting control over your biology, being able to train yourself, being able to exercise, being able to eat the right food, being able to do whatever it takes to get healthy, including doing the meditation to heal your emotional trauma within you, to handle the pain and overcome the pains of the past that are traumatizing you.
And the frustrations and the anger that might be in there that needs to be released. You need to exercise, breathe it out, do Tom's meditative walks, do his trainings, and understand that it's mind over matter, and then activate the mind with the body and healing those traumas, because really the body it just wants its next breath. And it's the mind that really does it to us because of the traumas and things and sufferings that we have gone through. But instead of sitting down with the suffering, we get up and move, and then it becomes healing energies.
And it takes a while to heal yourself. It takes time. And the same thing true when it comes to exercise programs and things that'll help you heal, dietary change. Everything takes time. And when you're dealing with your biology, that's sort of like your immediate connection with reality, with the the natural reality around you, with nature. That's your connection. So a lot of the body-mind connection, the body-mind-spirit connection is so vital to being able to get the spiritual strength, to be able to protect yourself.
And then you grow stronger by grounding in who you are. You're grounding into reality. You're grounding on healing your trauma. You're grounding on changing your habits. And then you become stronger spiritually, that no psychic attack is gonna affect you, because you are so strong inside, like a pillar of strength.
And it's not a case of having big, huge muscles.
No.
It's more a case of being healthy. And
healthy mind, body, and spirit.
And what I find with me, that what makes you healthy spiritually has to do with almost like being really strong neurologically, developing your, that's the mind-body connection.
That's right.
Because, what I've developed is real quick reflexes. I only weigh 124 pounds, and I'm very healthy at that, because that's sort of like hitting the fine line. But a lot of times when you want to be as strong as it being on that real fine, delicate line, it's sort of like that's what's required to be super strong. Or it's like a lot of the most intense weapons we have, or whatever, most advanced technologies have a delicacy to them, a fine line, but they're very, very strong and very powerful in what they do. But there's always a delicacy, and And being healthy is sort of like that fine line. You can be super healthy, but you can mess up and be sick and destroy yourself just like that. One accident.
Yeah.
One eating something that's really poisonous
or thinking some really stressful things can also go and tear up your body with stress. So that is another example of psychic attacks from outside, things that come up in the environment, things that come up in your life, things that come up with haters, things that come up with peer pressure of what they think you need to be. But like Tom says, when you get the focus, you start exercising, you start getting the clear understanding that you have to build the strength. Your brain is a muscle. So you need to build the strength of that muscle just like you do with exercise. And it does take time, like a plant. It's they say that it takes 28 days to break or start a new habit or routine. So we challenge you, do the meditative walks, do the breathings, 28 days, give it 28 days and see, comment and tell us what your results are. We would love to hear that, because that's all about the training of how you can be stronger to keep away and avoid psychic attacks.
And being connected to your body and having that awareness so you don't hurt yourself, to eat the right food, you find out what works for you and what doesn't.
Yes.
That's so important because your intuition and your emotions are very connected to your body, and your traumas are very connected to your body too, your emotional traumas. And so when you you cannot develop that real keen sensitivity or body awareness if you have all these emotional traumas within you, because they'll mess you up. They'll mess up your spiritual radar. So that's why it's so important, and it's something that, as I say, it's something you have to take your time and work at it, and having the right spiritual theories that enable you to do the training and to evaluate, see the positive in it. Because the thing is, a lot of people say pain is bad, I should take painkillers. And it's almost like then you take drugs or you do all kinds of things because you don't want to feel reality for what it is. But the thing is, when you confront pain and you challenge pain and you take on pain, pain becomes less of a problem anymore for you. It becomes something, I can handle it. It's like the explorers. They've gone to the North Pole, the South Pole, and there's one explorer that had to bring his ship got caught up in the ice, and he had to travel, across the ocean in a boat or whatever, and had to stay on it. It's just amazing what these people have gone through. And the people, they survive because they are willing to handle the pain, because it's worth it. It's worth it to survive and to do an amazing thing. And when I've been watching the video, but I don't have the real good memory for a lot of the details and things like that. That's why I'm real good at spiritual, because I don't have all the clutter. But the clutter also helps you to present valuable information if you're in other fields other than the spiritual and you want more detail.
Well, the emotions power the spirit. So literally the unseen is where Tom lives. And it is amazing because of the examples that it is not only talking, it is walking. It's the experiences that make creation, because creation's always moving, where the energy's always flowing. And so when you're picking up information and you're picking up things to evolve your perceptions, you are literally reaching inside to what is connected to the universe. So literally that is God, is literally inside yourself, experiencing the ever unchanging, ever unstopping creations of the energy's flow. And it is always that next breath, that next step. Oh, we're still alive. The story about the plane crash in the mountains. I was talking to Dawn. Hi, Dawn. I know you're out there. We love you. About how they went in the direction opposite of where that big hotel was. But the guy was saying, hey, am I alive? Yes, okay, well, I'm going to keep going, because he climbed over mountains. They went over mountains that even the experts have a hard time doing. And it was he was in survival mode. He had a pack of human flesh just to eat, and, wearing, shoes that were made out of the airplane seats. And he was just trying to survive. And the one thing that kept going on and on was the fact that, well, I have my next breath. I'm still alive. Here I am. Let's go. Let's keep moving forward. And in the spiritual, that's how you got to look at it. You just got to keep going. You're still alive. You're still moving. You still got to keep going forward and evolve to that next higher consciousness. And you do it first by understanding self, so you can ward off those psychic attacks. You concentrate on your health, mind, body, and spirit. And I still challenge all of you to take on Tom's wonderful meditative program, because it is amazing. It is amazing.
And the thing is that when you have dreams, that is when a lot of the times the psychic attacks happen.
Yes.
And one of the things that the way I look at dreams, and I've done a lot of dream interpretation, I'm still, I think, number 9 in Yahoo Answers dream interpretation.
Yeah, we're going to have a video pretty soon about dreams as well, so give us your comments.
But the thing with dreams is, you just think of dreams similar to life. It's exaggerated analogies and stuff like that tend to happen in dreams. But when you're having a dream, the idea is to not give up. Whatever challenges you, it takes you on, it tries to defeat you, you fight it and you fight it and you fight it and you fight it throughout the dream. And if you wake up fighting it, you won. Meaning you never give up.
Yeah.
And that's how you win a psychic attack. You do not give up.
You do not give up.
You just fight and fight and fight until you have no more energy to fight, and then you will wake up, and then that's the end of it. So that's one of the keys.
Yes, that's a great point. And we had a little bit of stream interruption. So if anybody didn't hear that, we're going to say it again because it's very important. In a psychic attack, when you are dreaming, you must fight, 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 and you win. And logically, that still works for a reality.
That's the way you always deal with
life. You fight.
You fight, you deal with the spiritual energy, you fight to move it in a positive direction, and you do it, and you do not give up until you overcome it. And when in a dream, if you wake up, you've won. In other words, you fight until the dream is over. Because no matter what, people are going to get in trouble every once in a while with a psychic attack.
So you must be able to understand that it's important to fight and come out with the results of a positive viewpoint, a positive understanding. Even if it was a negative dream, you still reach out to the lessons that it's holding inside there. What is it saying? Usually it's a releasement of what's going on in your reality. So you blend it and understand what that negative is telling you so you can avoid it, or maybe go to it with actions, maybe change something. So you paying attention to your gut intuition in the similarities of what your dreams are saying.
And one of the things with dreams are going to bring out a lot of your fears or whatever.
Yes.
And you have to understand, you have to get an awareness in you, and that's some spiritual training that makes you aware that you are actually dreaming. It's not like you have, you get dreams have a certain reality to them because they're on the spiritual level. So they're going to feel real to a certain degree, but on a certain level, you're going to know you're dreaming. So therefore, if you fall off some building and you're flying through the air, you say, I can fly, and then you fly. Because it's a dream. I can do things in dreams that you can't do in regular reality. So therefore, that's one of the things you have to understand when you're dreaming. is that you can do whatever you can change the rules, because the spiritual is different than the physical reality.
Then it goes into the physical reality, and Einstein said imagination is greater than knowledge. So now we're creating, just like in the dream, instantaneously we're flying. Now we're in reality with imagination being greater than knowledge, and we're creating the outcomes of what we want to see in our lives.
And even in a dream, if you're falling, you don't even have to fly. You can fall and hit the earth and you won't get hurt. So you know what I mean? You just have to imprint that in your mind, that the spiritual, you do not get hurt in the spiritual. So if somebody's making a psychic attack on you, you have to understand it's happening in the spiritual. And if you understand how the spiritual works, they can't get to you. They cannot do any damage to you, because you only get damaged in the dream because you don't understand that you can actually violate all the rules and get away with it.
That's right. And that's all about the self-intuition. So we are very thankful that you guys all were here 1 year again for Psychic Attacks Part 2, 2.0.
And I was going to say one thing, is when these explorers are trying to do these amazing things and survive, there are going to be doubters within their party. There are going to be people that are not happy with the situation.
Great point.
And they will create psychic attacks to try to defeat, they're not doing it on purpose, they just, are messed up. So they're going to psychically attack the plans that are the only plans that will work. So therefore, the leaders have to be able to fight off the psychic attacks of the disunity of the people that can't handle the situation. So a lot of times psychic attacks happen from people that are delusional and cannot handle, the situation in a realistic way, and will destroy the success of any mission.
Yes, definitely. Great point. Doubters will, also lower the self-esteem, knowing you can do it, because that's all self-esteem
Well,
is.
I mean, there's realistic doubt, but that goes into developing a constructive plan.
That's
right. You figure out, what will work and what won't work, and then you go with the plan, the best plan you have, and it doesn't have to be perfect, because whatever plan you have that's the best you have can be made to work if you really put the energy in. And you'll make corrections along the way. You don't have to have the best plan a lot of times, because you always can update it and you always can make corrections.
That's right, because we're constantly moving and flowing.
Okay, this is Positive Vibes Enterprise. The subject today has been psychic attacks.
Yes, please subscribe.
And we may have wandered all over the place, but we are basically dealing with how to protect your spiritual energy.
Yes, this is going deeper into a subject that happens all the time. You can even psychic attack yourself by self-doubting yourself. So be watchful of those types of energies as well.
Yeah, you start self-doubting yourself, there will be people that will feed into your self-doubt.
And because they're just going to attack right on you.
Yeah, because they just look for vulnerability. Okay, so we appreciate you watching.
Yes, leave any comments if you want to have any questions or want any more explorations on psychic attacks.
And we have so many videos, and we try not to have a lot of empty space. We try to put a lot of energy into it, and
we do put a lot of energy into it. So we're glad you're here, and we're looking forward to it.
So if you just watch them and relax and just see what comes. What inspires you as a result.
That's right.
Find out what inspires you,
yes,
or resonates with you. Was the word I was looking for.
Please do. Till next time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.